I was just getting ready to make a video on what I thought about the march on D.C. with these little kids. And thank God from Freedom Outpost came this. And this is just about what I was going to say anyway. It said instead of rebuking anti-Second Amendment students, White House encouraged them and touts Trump's latest attacks on the Second Amendment. Now that's kind of what I was looking for, because what got me was, let's scroll down here just a second. I want to, I'll zoom in just here so you can see this. Okay. White House Deputy Secretary Lindsey Walters said, "We applaud the many courageous young Americans exercising their First Amendment rights today." Okay. What gets me about that? Would they be applauding those little SOBs if they were there exercising their right to demand that Trump tear down the border wall or not build the border wall? If they were against his border wall, would they be touting and say, "Oh, we really applaud these many courageous young Americans exercising their First Amendment today because they don't want me to have the wall"? The kids must know what the hell they're doing. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. No, they sure as hell wouldn't have come out and said that if they were bitching about the border wall for national security. No, they'd be out there disrupting those kids. Keeping our children safe is top priority for the president, which is why he urged Congress to pass the Fix NICS and Stop School Violence Act. People, that's stupid. That's like, throwing more money at Planned Parenthood so you can kill babies. Oh, God. The President Nixon knows to defend and uphold our Constitution and protect it from all enemies, foreign and domestic. I ask you, aren't these people not domestic enemies of the Constitution? You got that right. And so are those bastards in Congress right now that are passing gun laws. They are enemies of the Constitution, and therefore they are the enemy of the people. Anyway, he says, I believe they are. It's not a dialogue about ideas. This little brainwashed, scripted communists and their handlers going to the public square issuing political threats against representatives who would uphold their oath of office concerning the Second Amendment. Yeah. He's scripted all right. Yes, they're getting those first-time voters to show up. Now, who here is going to vote in the 2018 election? If you listen real close, you'll hear these people in power shaking. Oh, boy. So I say to those politicians that change will not come. I say we will not stop until every man, woman, and child and every American can live without fear of gun violence. And I say to that, no more, Hogg said. He went hog wild. Of course, Hogg's arrogance was on display as he threw the communist fist into the air and proclaimed to change the world. Sadly, there's no way ever until Jesus comes that the world will have to deal with gun violence in some way or another. You got to remember, the public has always had accidents, and somebody's getting shot. Okay, we understand that thing. It's collateral damage, if you will. It's a lot better than genocide. You take the guns away from the people and you get genocide. You lose a hell of a lot more. Oh, good Lord. But you see where I'm going? Had they been there protesting the building of the border wall, do you think that the people, that the deputy press secretary wouldn't have ran out there and said, "We applaud the many courageous young Americans exercising their First Amendment right here today"? Do you think that would have happened? If Hogg really wants to dampen gun violence, history teaches us that he is going in the wrong direction. Sadly, so is President Trump and the established Republicans and communist Democrats. Praising such comments like this undermines the Constitution. It's truly deplorable, and the White House should have done well to just keep their damn mouth shut. It's like Trump running around tweeting all this shit. Now, Trump kind of screwed himself when he says he's going to be the best Second Amendment president we ever had, and then he turns around and he says, well, first we'll take their guns and then we'll give them due process. You don't say that unless you're an ignorant person. And then to come out and pass this unconstitutional fixed NICS legislation, to add injury to insult, touting unconstitutional legislation that is a complete joke, like Stop School Violence Act, which does nothing to keep schools safe and only grows government and unconstitutional spending because the central government has no business in education in the first place, along with the unconstitutional fixed NICS legislation and the illegal banning of bump stocks by the executive branch, which has no constitutionality to do so, is tantamount to the very attacks on the Constitution and the Second Amendment that these little communists in D.C. this weekend is advancing. They're really pushing the agenda. You know, Trump went up there, oh, I'm going to drain the swamp. Well, I think the swamp's overtaken you. Where's that thing about Ann Coulter? I forgot about her. Bless her little heart. Wasn't really much of a fan to hers, but I'm starting to she's really growing on me. Somewhere I missed it. But she was out there, and I mean, she's really fired up. I've got to hand it to that woman. She's right on top of things. Yes, sir. Oh, I know. So the deep state, and don't tell me about the deep state, and don't just blame Congress and all this. The president holds a veto pen in all this. You could have stopped any of these things listed above, but choose to ignore the Constitution. I'm with Ann Coulter. He may not get a chance in 6 months to do anything because he should be impeached for his conduct in these matters. Now, something else. With all these elections coming up, and if they put a bunch of Democrats in there, you think they're gonna be buddies with old Trump? They want Trump gone. They've been planning for a fool. And they want that fool out of there. They want Hillary in. We got to get Hillary back in there, man. Yeah. When you see all these attacks on the Second Amendment coupled with the unconstitutional ominous bill that you hear talk that the only reason to pass it is national security and military, you know that tyranny is rising and dangerous times are just around the corner. Thanks again, Freedom Outpost. I'm glad that you got that printed up there. I had all this stuff written down in my head and on paper, and this saved me a heck of a lot of trouble because the people need to know. Like I said, had they been out there protesting the border wall, they wouldn't have come out and said that. They wouldn't have gone out there and applauded the many courageous young Americans exercising their rights. But they come after the Second Amendment and everybody like, oh, we better kiss those little kids' butts. They don't need to be paddled. We got to coddle them. Thanks for watching.